and welcome to Friday Friends. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Carly, and we're Next Chapter Home Team.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This week's featured friend is Maggie Mahoney from Midland Title. Welcome, Maggie.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well, we want to start with a little something about yourself.
So fun fact about myself is I just finished running my second full marathon.
That is so awesome. And where was it? Because that's the cool part too.
New York City. It was my second time running New York. It was absolutely incredible. Finished it with my sister, hand in hand.
Okay.
Very memorable moment. I'll remember it forever.
Today, you are here to talk to us a little bit about title insurance.
Yes. As a title company, we ensure that the property that is being purchased is clear of all title defects, such as like liens, mortgages, foreclosure, taxes, anything that would inhibit the property.
Okay.
So our job is to clear all of that mess prior to the buyer purchasing the property. Free and clear title, as we call it. We do investigative work on the back end of things, and we go through anything that was of public record with the county, whether that's in the court system or down at the government center.
So what does it mean to clear title? If you discover one of those things in your research, what is the process to get rid of one of those?
Depending on what the lien is, we'll either work with like the IRS or we'll work with the state. Those cleared. There's normally a turnaround time, kind of depends on what their workload is, but we actually have someone in our office who specifically just works on clearing all of the junk on title work in order for us to get to the closing table. So if there's a mortgage on the property, such as like getting a mortgage payoff, that normally takes just a couple hours to a couple days to come in. But the liens and whatnot, like state tax liens, federal tax liens, those things, they take a little bit to clear up, and sometimes they might attach to the property or a person, and it might not be that person, and so we still have to clear those things because it's attaching to that. A lot of investigative work, but it's fun. It keeps the job interesting, that's for sure.
I'm sure. That's one of the craziest stories you have.
We actually just had one recently, which is very odd because, so I've been at Midland for 12 years, well, almost 12 years. This is the first time I've ever seen something like this happen, but we had a deal where a gentleman was in jail and his nephew had quitclaimed the house to himself, and so the deed was a fraudulent deed, and the nephew was trying to sell the house, and we had figured out that it was a fraudulent deed, and the guy gets released from jail to see that his house is kind of being pulled out from underneath it.
Right.
So it ended up having to go to the state, and from what happened, all the nephew had a bunch of liens against him from the IRS, and the poor uncle had to pay off the liens because it had attached, even though it was a fraudulent deed, and it ended up having to go to quiet title, which that's where we work with the court system on the back end of things to when there's a fraudulent, document like that. And that's just a case of like quit claiming deeds back and forth from one person to the next. We try to tell people, even though you think that you're buying it from so-and-so and you trust them and whatnot, you don't know what the back history is of this property that attaches to you, even if you're just quit claiming, the deed.
And that's what makes title insurance important.
Yes.
Because that is a case where probably as realtors we'd be like, this is great, yeah, we're selling a house, and then all of a sudden like, whoa, our seller or our buyer, can't buy this property, or our seller is tricking all of us, and that's why it's important to make sure you go through that.
Well, and honest to God, even like for you two in the business too, like we try to tell agents as well, if there is, it's always good to just call a title company when you're going on a listing appointment and you have any maybe hesitations about the listing appointment where you feel like you think that they're maybe hiding something, or maybe that you don't even think they're hiding something. It doesn't even matter, but you could always give a title rep of your choice a call, always willing to take the phone call, but give us a call to see if there's anything that we think is going on in the background of things. Hey, I've got the seller, they think they might have paid off their mortgage, or there's maybe a little bit of a balance yet, or they said they did pay it off, and we'll be able to pull that up for you guys to see if there still is an outstanding mortgage on the property. If you don't, if you guys ever feel like you need to do that, give us a call.
Right.
So.
Or even something small. I went on the listing appointment and he was like, well, my wife can't be here, but I'll be here. And I'm like, okay. And then it was like, I'll talk to my wife, who knows, maybe something weird going on with him and his wife that she wasn't there, and
Yeah.
you just get a funny feeling like, hey, let me just check into this real.
So then with title insurance, who pays for?
So title insurance. So in Lucas County, it's on the contract. It's standard. The seller pays for the title insurance. That number is based upon the purchase price of the home. So it's a non-negotiable. The owner's title policy as to like what the amount is. Yeah, seller pays for that. Sometimes when you get into new construction deals, that gets a little funky. So if you've got a new construction deal, give your title company a call that you're working with. Sometimes those fees are a little bit different. But the buyer does get to pick who the title company is, even though it is paid for by the seller. And it is a one-time cost, like most insurance, most things that you're paying for insurance, like your homeowner's insurance and things like that, that's a reoccurring cost. Title insurance is just a one-time cost. So, and it's, only for when the property is being sold.
So what happens, they have this one-time purchase, and then something comes up later on, hey, I bought this house, and now I've got someone knocking on my door, say I owe them something, or this is my house.
And that's why you've got a title insurance company. That would be what would be a claim. Maybe there was something missed on this, the chain of title that was done. Could be a bunch of things, but our underwriters would be looking into that, as well as our attorneys on staff. And normally that's a claim. So, but the title insurance company is responsible for that. Not anything for the buyer or the seller to have to worry about. That's why they went for the title company. And unfortunately it does happen. So it's not every day that there's a claim, but it does happen.
What else should we know about title insurance?
To call Midland Title if you guys have any questions or need anything. Love to be of service. I hope it's kind of it's a very black and white business. And a note to the consumer, like the buyer who's buying a home maybe for their first time or they haven't done it in 20 years. It's not something you guys are dealing with every day. It's something that we are. So if you guys have any questions or need anything, you can give us a call.